what's it called, vicariously. It's like living through a character, living through a novel, living through a film or whatever. A TV show, binge watching a TV show, and then saying, okay, my life is empty now, I've got to watch something else. Because you're living through these protagonists. And sure, you can do that to some extent, because that's what art is. You're watching a film. But it's not supposed to live your life for you.
Today's episode of the Whisky Conversation was brought to you by Clockwork 88 Studio and the founder of Clockwork 88 Studio, Hano.
Bonjour! Bonjour!
That's not French. C'est pas français. The story here is that Hano landed in Melbourne after I went to Sydney.
Yeah.
2 days after I came back from Sydney. No, a day after I came back from Sydney.
When'd you come?
1st of November. And
I
you
came
landed 2nd of November. So here we are.
Yeah.
In my Melbourne
I'm following
apartment.
him. Stalkish.
Yeah, he's stalking.
Cheers.
Now we're drinking whiskey in my apartment.
Oh.
Yeah, Old Forester.
Yeah,
Really smooth.
that'll wake you up.
Completely. We'll put you to sleep now. Give me your first impression of Melbourne.
Oh man.
The general city impression. I've been here for most of my life, but you've only been here recently.
Melbourne.
From the first. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
It's like. Okay.
Yeah.
I told him, Sydney's like a family member. You kind of have to love him because that's where you were born and raised, and you've been around him your whole life. And it's like, we gotta go to the dinners. It's his birthday. We gotta see him. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. But Melbourne, I came here. I've never been to Melbourne. It's my first time in Melbourne. My first time in Melbourne. And then a day passed. I met this gentleman. Another day passed. He took me to a couple of cafes. I've seen a few bars.
Melbourne's
Seen a couple of
cafe
skylines.
culture. You like it?
I like it. I like it.
See,
I like
like you said at a train station, like Sydney's kind of like San Francisco to Melbourne's New York. Comparison.
Yeah, I was like, if anything, if you want to make comparisons, Sydney would be like Los Angeles. There's the beach, there's the weather.
Yeah.
Like, I've never experienced this cold before.
Really?
Seriously, I was freezing my off yesterday.
Oh my god! When I went to Sydney, I was just constantly.
Yeah, you're pissing sweat.
I couldn't deal with that.
And then Melbourne would be New York if you really want to make comparisons and stuff.
Yeah, no, but first impression of Sydney when I went there was King's Cross, which is something that I talked about in my last video. King's Cross is a red light district, which means has a lot of, strippers, a lot of drug addicts.
I mean, let's just say the floor is sticky most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
But, like, honestly, I know there's probably going to be people in the comments like, oh, well, King's Cross technically isn't like that anymore. Like, growing up, King's Cross was like, okay, you be careful, don't go to King's Cross. But now, I don't know, I haven't been there in like how many years.
Yeah, because the third day, when I was in a hotel,
yeah,
someone collapsed upstairs and then they had to drag him all the way into an ambulance. So I'm like,
I'm not laughing at the person collapsing. I'm just laughing at, I can imagine you like trying to come to terms with your rally and then hearing boom, boom. And then hearing
ambulance parked in front of a hotel.
You thought you had COVID, yeah?
Yeah,
like,
I thought.
Okay, someone's collapsed.
Yeah.
Sydney, the epicenter of COVID.
Yeah. So, next topic of discussion, let's talk about books. So, what do you typically like to read? And what is your relationship between, for example, literature and reality? Because that's what I really want to talk about with you. Because different people get into reading for different reasons.
Yeah.
For me, like, I'm a scholar, by nature. By nature, I'm a scholar.
Classical, yeah.
I have a scholar's heart,
yeah.
which means when I read something, I want to find out, like, the ramifications, what's deeper in this argument.
Yeah,
like
you're digging into the paper.
Digging into the words, trying to find the precise definition of each word, and then trying to understand it from very academic frame. So, but for other people, it serves different purposes. I've met writers, they've never read more than 3 books a year. And I've met artists, filmmakers. For example, you work in film most of the time.
Yeah. Like,
what is the relationship between reading and creating your shit?
I get comments quite frequently of people saying, oh, give me a book recommendation, your reading list. And I could probably count on my fingers and toes how many books I've read in my entire life. Like, I read, but I only read not to say I've done the action of reading. Oh, Dickinson, yeah, of course I've read Dickinson. Ulysses, easy peasy, yada, yada, yada. Like, if something captures me, which is usually through a person, like if you recommend something to me, I'll probably read it because I respect your opinion.
David Sedaris.
Okay, that's the next one.
Norwegian Wood.
Norwegian Wood. I'm currently reading that actually.
Yeah.
Dostoevsky. Everyone's read Dostoevsky. I have to read Dostoevsky. The Russians. I gotta read the Russians. It's more so like, okay, what's the book about? Oh, it's about this. That's something that I'm interested in currently. So I'm gonna read it, and then I pretty much go from there. I like Hemingway.
Hemingway. Yeah.
Like Hemingway, like that guy.
Movable Feast.
The Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah.
Men Without Women. If you want to read a good like collection of short stories.
So good.
Like Murakami actually has a collection of short stories.
Yeah, I still think, Sun Also Rises, Fiesta.
I can believe
that is the best
And
Hemingway.
it's like his first one, yeah?
His first one,
that was the first Hemingway I ever read as well.
Really?
Yeah, first. I was like, I'll start at the beginning. I was on Reddit for like ages. Where do I start? Where do I start? Just start where he started.
Yeah, completely.
And then I read that and I was like, shit, people live like this.
That is...
And like, it's nothing dramatic. If you haven't read it, it's not like some adventure. This guy's Indiana Jones swinging from like trees and shit. It's literally just he lives in Paris and he goes to Spain with his friends.
Main characters, Junk was fucked up from the war. And there's this whole love triangle thing.
Yeah, the love triangle. It's so simple.
It's so good.
So simple.
And the prose is just typical Hemingway style. It's the greatest.
Like, you can tell he was a journalist, but in the best way possible.
Completely, yeah.
Like, every sentence... Yeah, Short's his first book, so it's not perfect.
It's not.
But it's like when you read it, you can smell, you can taste the ambition. Like like this guy is going places. Even though he's Hemingway, like we know now who he is. Like you literally go on a pilgrimage to his grave.
Yeah.
Like then, like let's say you were the first one to read it. It's like a first film or something. Like Tarantino, everyone knows Tarantino. If you watch Reservoir Dogs, have you seen Reservoir Dogs?
No.
If you watch Reservoir Dogs, like, this guy is going to make something great one day. Even though that is great, he's going to make something great one day.
He's got the scent of success.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got the scent. Grand question of the day. Living versus writing, or living versus reading literature.
Consuming.
Artistic creation, So after this trip to Sydney, I felt like... the living department, because I've been here most of my life.
Yeah.
So I've traveled a little bit when I was younger, but like it wasn't exactly impressionable.
Yeah.
But here it's just like it's been like the first time that I've been out of Melbourne in nearly a decade. So I went out there alone. The hotel business, someone collapsing upstairs, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But that, in a sense, made me realize how real reality is. Sometimes reality could slap you in the face that you won't have like a basis to reason off of. You just like, it's just reality doing its thing.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the balance when it comes down to reading and living? Living and reading. Some people just live.
Yeah.
They don't even have like a grounding for how to live, but they just do, and they run into all sorts of dead ends. But some people read too much. They literally don't.
They don't open the door.
They don't open the door. So
yeah.
What is that balance?
What's it called? Vicariously. It's like living through a character, living through a novel, living through a film or whatever. A TV show, binge watching a TV show, and then saying, okay, my life is empty now, I've got to watch something else. It's because you're living through these protagonists. And sure, you can do that to some extent, because that's what art is. You're watching a film. But it's not supposed to live your life for you. No. It's supposed to aid your life.
That's it.
It's not supposed to be your life. So I went through like a stint of like just living through like films I'd watch on repeat, like 2-3 hour films. I'd just be like, I'm gonna watch it again, done. Okay, I feel like I've accomplished something. It's like, no, they accomplished something. Sure, you learned something through the character's experience, which is what great art usually does. You have something to take from it, but you should consider it, in my opinion, as like checkpoints along the way. Like, think of a book as a good friend, or a film as like your best friend. Like, they tell you something when you need to be told it. Yeah. Or maybe it's just nothing nonsensical. It's Minions. You're watching the Minions. You're not gonna learn anything. You're gonna learn how stupid it is. That's what you're gonna learn. Yeah.
For me, literature's an escape.
Escape. Exactly.
For me, it's like a temporary pause on reality. Because reality could be horrible. Reality, things could happen in reality. You're working through something. You're having something. You're having doubts, or you're having this uncomfortable feeling about something. Literature is a way for me to like suspend that judgment, to be like, hey, something's going on here. We need to work through whatever this is, and we need to get past it. So literature, in a sense, creates this buffer for me to get away from reality for a bit.
Yeah.
For me to recollect everything that's been going on before I hop back into reality and gain perspective. And recently I didn't really have much time to read, you know, because exams, and I just finished all my exams and traveling and all that stuff. And now I just feel like I'm so just like detached from that world and so malnourished that now I'm craving to get back to it.
Yeah. As much as it puts your head in the clouds, it brings you back to reality as well.
Completely.
It's like, I'm not the first one to have a problem like this.
No.
Look what he went through. And this novel's from the 1800s. I'm not that special. Things have happened and they will continue to happen. The human experience is cyclical. You're not the first to experience what you're experiencing. That's why all these bookstores are full. That's why all these cinemas are full.
If you think you're the first one to go through something like that, you're gonna get really freaked out.
Yeah.
Because it's just like there's no solution out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm the only person that's
No one understands me.
No one understands me. And
Yeah.
you get into this like vortex, right?
Yeah.
But if you read a book on a subject, not necessarily a self-help book, because self-help books are stupid. If you read a book on a subject, if you read a fiction book or like a classic, and if you understand the cyclical nature of human behavior and how the same shit keeps on happening to everyone, you understand that you're not the first.
You feel understood.
You feel understood.
It's
and
like
you're not the first.
Yeah, it's like he gets it.
No wonder.
She gets it.
No wonder this shit happened here. And you're not necessarily trying to find a solution. You're just trying to be in there to re-narrate, to kind of like find a different narrative, alternative narrative.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
And what I've noticed about like people that like reading a lot or consuming a lot of art, be it film or a novel, is people attracted to stories.
Yeah.
Like Umbrella. Is that they desire stories. And I don't mean desire consuming stories, reading more stories. They desire living a story. They want their life to be a story in itself. So that's why they keep running to the bookshelf. That's why they keep running to the cinema. Like, I need more, I need something. And that catches up to you. Definitely, no matter who you are, how old you are, where you live, it's going to catch up to you. Because you're going to soon realize that I've abandoned my life to the ink on this page.
Yeah. I've
abandoned my life to this film reel. And that's, to put it basically, that's not good, man. Like,
as soon as there's a rupture in reality, you feel like that's not a part of my narrative. And you lose your sense of identity. Because you've identified yourself in books so much.
You're going to be 67. You're going to finish that new novel you just read. There's not going to be anything else to reach for. What have I become?
Bookworm.
Yeah. Like, what my goal is to be that sick grandpa. Like that cool grandpa. Like they run to me to tell, like, hey, grandpa, tell that story again.
Yeah.
And it's a real story that I experienced.
Exactly.
That I lived through. That I'm proud to have lived through. And what art does, what Hemingway does for me, what a Scorsese film does for me is it fuels my drive towards those stories in the real world. In the real world. Like, get on a plane and come here.
Yeah.
Get on a boat and sail across whoever, whatever. Talk to that girl. Order that thing that I've never ordered before. Seek experience.
Be okay with where the chips might fall.
Exactly.
You know? So let the chips fall.
Yeah.
If it's misfortune, it's going to be funny. If it's fortune, it's going to be excitement. And
at least it was on my terms.
Exactly.
At least it was on my terms. Man.
Movie director.
That's it. Cheers.
Cheers. Like that. So, if there's one statement to summarize this debate on experience and reading, what would it be?
When you read something that's come from a person that knows what that feeling is. Like, not just some Joe Schmo writing about, yeah, I'm sad today. Like, there's a difference between him writing, yeah, I'm sad today, boss, and someone who's been in the dark corners, someone who's been alone, under the bridge, like, in the... Whether it's that, like, that darkness, or the light, someone that's experienced beauty and life and coffee and you can just tell when you read it. That's why when you read Hemingway, I mean, I don't mean to keep bringing up Hemingway, but
he's great, but hey.
That's why when you read Hemingway, you can tell this guy is bringing to the page what his body brought to him in the moments that he lived. Like, whether he's talking about a bullfight or sitting at a bar or his wife, one of many, whichever one he's talking about, or his son, or the page, or in Movable Feast, the way the room is cold, and he writes to warm himself.
Yeah, the orange peel.
The orange.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
guy selling the firewood.
Foot.
Yeah. Oh man, read it.
Read it.
This video is sponsored by Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. Imagine that. Hemingway reaches out to you from the beyond.
Exactly.
I want to sponsor this video.
So for me, it's more like, because I never understood this until recently. Never understood the statement. Hemingway said, "Write one true sentence at a time." That's the only way. That's the only way to write, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you write fiction, you could construct whatever the fuck you want to construct. Spaceships, aliens, and stuff. So I never quite understood what he meant by write one true sentence at a time.
Yeah.
But recently, I just kind of realized a lot of what I write, like in my journal or in one of my essays, a lot of it is just fluff. Like, to really dig to the core of how you really felt, that's rare. Maybe you can find one sentence in like on an entire page of my journal that's like, that's true. Yeah. The rest of it is just set up.
Set up for that one truth.
So for me, right now when I'm journaling, when I'm collecting my insights, or when I'm writing an essay, it's just trying to find that one thing. So maybe one day I'll get to a level where all of the sentences are that. Yeah. And
the way you get to that level is through, to get back to the topic, is through experience.
That's it.
You can't just keep writing. It's not a quantity thing.
No.
It's not write 10,000 sentences and 2 of them will be true. That means write 20,000 sentences and 4 of them will be true. It's not that. That's not the way it works.
No.
Live life.
Live life. And that is the end of the first episode of Whisky Time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out Hano's channel down in the description down below if you want philosophical content, if you want beautifully, cinematically coordinated content, and also he's also on TikTok, so check his stuff out. Written and directed by Hano. So I'll link all of it down in the description. Check him out. Great guy, great content, and I'll see you next time when you're in Melbourne.
I'll be back.
Next time when I'm in Sydney.
I'll be back.
All right.